Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Trade facilitation company Ghana Community Network Services Limited, GCNet, has rejected claims of not having a full end-to-end customs management system deployed for the country. According to GCNet, government should blame itself for engaging other vendors, even though the current system it has deployed is a complete solution that aids the clearing of goods and revenue generation. Deputy General Manager at GCNet, Carl Saki, says government's current posture is unfortunate.
First is the fact that government owns a stake in GCNet. If you look at government entities for which government has actually, I'm looking at, say, last year, where they consider GCNet to be an SOE, and you want to juxtapose us against the mining companies that government has a stake in, the banks, we're actually number 2. It's only one of the mining companies that comes before GCNet. So from that perspective, you suddenly start questioning, why would you look at a company that you recognize as a high-performing state-owned enterprise, you own 35% of, and you want to take such a decision? That's one. The second thing, the second reason why I personally don't agree with government's decision is that really, there's no technical basis for the arguments that have been made. I mean, we've had many different arguments, and I don't think that the arguments on its own have to carry any merit, because systems are living beings. If you actually have any real reasons for saying that I want to change the system, as opposed to just saying end-to-end system or this is our own system, those things are stuff that you can actually interrogate. And
government says that too many vendors around the port, and they just want one vendor to handle everything. In fact, we understand that even those doing CTN and all that will be made to go. So one single vendor. Question, is it that you don't have what it takes to do all these jobs at the port?
Okay, so, if government says too many vendors, GCNet did not engage the vendors. Government engaged vendors. So clearly, what we're looking at here is that there's an issue of policy coherence. So CTN is a creation of government. I think that government brought them in 2 years ago to come and do something. Government brought another entity in from Ministry of Finance to come and do, they call them SML to do yes. something else. It was government that brought West Blue in to replace the destination inspection companies, even though the GCNet contract mandated us to do end-to-end. But then clearly in the space that GCNet was, there were other entities.
More on that interview coming up at 1 o'clock when we bring you the marketplace. Meanwhile, stock markets in Europe have opened higher following Monday's plunge, when shares saw the biggest falls since the 2008 financial crisis. London's FTSE 100 share index rose more than 3%. After having sunk 7.7% in the previous session. Markets were battered on Monday in reaction to the threat of an oil price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. But after falling as much as 30% on Monday, oil prices saw some recovery, with Brent crude rising 8%. Meanwhile, here in Ghana, government could lose about $750 million on projected crude revenues as oil prices tumble. George Rafe has more.
In the 2020 budget, government projected to get a little over $1.5 billion at a benchmark price of $62.6 a barrel for its oil revenue. Now, due to the coronavirus has impacted on oil demand and the sudden price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia, prices are now hitting at about $30 a barrel. Investment banking giant Goldman Sachs has also projected that prices will hit $20 a barrel before the end of this year. Now, based on this development, government could lose about $750 million if things should stay this way to the end of this year. There are even warnings that the situation could even get worse because of how this development could affect corporate taxes and royalty payment for some of these oil marketing companies. This would impact negatively on projects that draw their funding from this oil revenue. Some analysts say the current happenings may make a strong case for government to review some of its estimates or revenue projections outlined in the 2020 budget or look for alternate sources of funding. But persons close to government believe that it is still early days yet to review these estimates or quickly introduce some new policy measures, arguing that they believe that the situation would normalize very soon and that any new policy response should be measured.
That's all in business for now. Up next on News Today, sports.